Are you serious? Are you serious? I told you that Venezuela was falling apart, that it was on the brink. And you know, when Donald Trump tells these the auto manufacturers that they need to bring their plants back home, that's exactly what he meant. Well, guess what's happened? We got breaking news. General Motors factory, a General Motors plant in Venezuela, has just been seized by the socialist. Somebody help Bernie Sanders understand what socialism is. The government just took General Motors factory from General Motors. It's exactly right. Here's what news out of Caracas. We're hearing that out of Venezuela, General Motors said that the Venezuelan authorities have illegally seized their plant in the industrial hub and have vowed to take all legal actions to defend its rights. The seizure comes amid a deepening economic crisis in the leftist, socialist, communistic, totalitarian-led Venezuelan government by, of course, Maduro, who took over for Hugo Chavez. And Venezuela has already roiled many. They've already taken many U.S. companies. But boy, when you take General Motors, yesterday, General Motors plant in Venezuela was unexpectedly taken by public authorities, preventing normal operations. In addition, other assets of the company, such as vehicles, have been illegally taken from the factory. According to the company's statement, it said the seizure would cause irreparable damage to the company. There's 2,678 workers there. There are 79 GM dealers in Venezuela and all the suppliers to this plant. Venezuela Information Ministry did not immediately respond to a request for this information. And Venezuela car industry has been in free fall, hit by a lack of raw materials stemming from complex currency controls and stagnant local production. Many plants are barely producing anything at all. In early 2015, Ford Motor Company wrote off its investment in Venezuela when it looked at $800 million pre-tax write-down. They just wrote the thing. They know they got out of there. The country's economic crisis has hurt many other U.S. companies, including food makers, pharmaceutical firms. A growing number are taking their Venezuelan operations out of their consolidated accounts. They're pulling them, they're closing them, they're shutting them down. There's no need. You think Venezuela's been in a free fall? You watch now what happens. You just can't take a General Motors plant. You just can't walk in and take over a GM factory. With all, you know how much, but they're going to do it, and they're going to make their own cars, and they're going to sell them themselves. And they're going to be like Cuba. Go to Cuba, folks. They're still driving cars from the 1950s and 60s. Now, Castro just took over the automakers and just keeps producing the same cars. They never upgrade. They never get new models. They just keep making the cars. The cars work. And everybody just keeps driving cars in the 50s and 60s. Same thing in India. They just keep making cars. For the most part, they have for years, that the British left behind in 1948. Now, they didn't seize those plants. They actually, the British just said, okay, you can have your independence, and here it is. And they sold off certain assets. But this is a whole different deal here. Venezuela, folks, this is how the beast is going to look. This is just a precursor to the beast system. The government will take over all the industries. And you guys know right now, the government, a one world government, a new world order will fail miserably. And it won't be able to produce enough food, will not be able to produce enough water, will not be able to produce enough goods and services for everybody on the planet. Farmers won't feel like farming because the government will just come in and just take the farms. And there will be production of everything, but at a slow pace. And they can't produce enough to feed everybody. And so there's going to be imprisonments. And that's where the slave labor is going to come from. Folks, I'm telling you, just read your Bible. And you're seeing it every day. I'm not afraid of it. I'm just telling you, it's in process. The spirit of the Illuminati, the New World Order. It's happening. The beast is rising. Revelation 13. But we're asleep. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. Get things right with God. We don't know the day nor the hour the Lord is coming. We don't know. People can draw their little timelines they want and put all their little eschatology bullet points in. It won't make a bit of difference. God's in control. He told us it's going to get ugly just before Christ comes. Are you saved?